On today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the Netflix original miniseries The Sinner, starring Jessica Biel. So we'll start with the visuals. I think that the series has a very strong visual look. There is a very hard edge about the colour palettes used in this film, and the techniques and shots that are used as well is very confrontational. A lot of the times it's designed to make the viewer feel uncomfortable, to emphasise the subject matter that it deals with. I was also impressed by the use of two different colour schemes to represent the past and the present. The past colour scheme was all warmer, to make it seem more like a memory, and all the scenes that were shot in present day were all given the washed out treatment. There was no real vibrant colours. It was kind of washed out and depressing, which I assume was used to emphasise the feeling that the main character is going through due to the events in her life. Overall, I gave this section a 7.5 as I felt that the visuals were very strong and worked really well with the other aspects of the series. For the audio section, I gave it a 6.5. There's no particularly outstanding moments of the score. There is nothing that's particularly memorable, but I will say that when called upon, the score is used to emphasize the emotional content of the sometimes graphic scenes really well. So 6.5 is what I'm going to score this category. For the performances, I really felt like this was a very strong aspect for this series. Jessica Biel in particular was incredibly good in this role, which was a very challenging and conflicted role for any actress to undertake, and something which I feel like it must have been uncomfortable to film at times due to the subjects that it tackles and the kind of decisions that this character makes. So all credit to Jessica Biel for really diving into this role and giving it 100%. It's a very good, honest, conflicted, sympathetic performance, which is very hard considering what this character goes through and the kind of actions that she takes. I also feel like Bill Pullman should get a bit of praise for this role. His too was another role that was very conflicted and was not black and white, very shades of grey in terms of the kind of character that he is and the actions that he takes as well. And I think he sold a far more earnest performance in this than he's ever sold in anything else that he's ever been in. I actually thought he was a bit of a crap cheesy actor until I watched the series, and now I recognise that actually when he's given some good material, he can actually be pretty good. And he is in this. The supporting cast are also really good across the board. There are no bad performances in this series, and a lot of the time these cast members are also playing aspects of characters that are murky and less well defined in terms of their moral nature, and I think each cast member does a very good job with their role and helps to sell an overall realistic story. So I'm giving the performances section a 9. The writing is probably the strongest aspect of this series, and in my opinion this is the best written series that Netflix has created. The writing is very strong. It takes on a very dark, sometimes disgusting subject matter, which is very difficult to write for, and the writers have done a very good job of handling it in a very mature way. And the writers did a very good job of making sure that the subject matter never becomes something that's so controversial it overshadows the rest of the goal of the writing. The decisions that they took with the writing in this series are very, very bold. They're very brave. It's possibly one of the bravest scripts that I've seen in terms of what they decide to do with characters and the kind of events and themes that they decide to explore with this writing. I think is easily one of the bravest things that I've seen, and it makes for uncomfortable viewing at times, but it's not uncomfortable because it's handled really badly. It's uncomfortable because it challenges our own views on morality and how we might feel that we'd handle the same situations that these characters are placed in. And I think that makes it a very complicated series to watch, which makes it a rewatchable series because you can take so many different perspectives while watching it, which is something that I tend to do very often, and I really enjoyed that aspect of this writing. And I can't praise the writing for this series enough. If for no other reason you decide to watch this, watch it just for its writing. It does suffer from a bit of slower pacing on episodes 2 and 3. The first episode is really good, but then it slows down a little bit. But after the slower episodes, it then starts to pick up. It really becomes something that is very hard to stop watching. I'm giving this section a 9.5 because the writing is really, really strong in this series. Overall, I scored this series at 82%, which makes it tied with The Hateful Eight as the highest rated thing that I've actually reviewed. I can't recommend this strongly enough to people out there. Initially, I only started watching this because I was looking for something different, and I wasn't too sure that I was going to like it because the exploration of one character's moral decisions didn't really seem like something that I was that interested in at the time, but I'm so glad that I watched it because it's so good. Overall, it's a subject that is very difficult to tackle and handled incredibly well by the writers, with a lot of very good quality acting throughout. That's it for this episode. I hope that I've highlighted something that you haven't seen before and recommended it to you, and that you do go out and watch it. If you do watch the series, then come back onto this video and leave me a comment in the comment section telling me what you thought about it, because I am genuinely interested in hearing what other people thought about this series because of its divisive subject. As always, if you're not a subscriber, I would recommend that you hit the subscribe button and the bell thing, and then you can be notified of when I upload more episodes, which is every Friday. Thanks a lot for your time, and thanks a lot for supporting this channel. I really appreciate it, and I really hope that I can continue making content that you all enjoy.